All right, awesome. Hello, hello. This is a tutorial on how to get ProPresenter lyrics to overlay on top of your live stream if you're using the Atem Mini Extreme, most Atem television studios, actually maybe not those, but still like the Atem lineup of switchers, using a feature called upstream keying. Yeah, so let's get into it. First, just to demonstrate, as you can see on camera 4 here, that's a full screen of lyrics, and I just want to get those lyrics to pop up on top of, let's say, this is our lovely model Cece and David, and we are just trying to get the lyrics for the for this live stream set up, but to overlay on top of them. So the trick here is there is a physical button on here. Wow, how do I can't really demonstrate, but there's a button called key 1 that I can turn on and off, and that any button on the Atem Mini that's like on the top right, usually those are pre-programmed, meaning if I push this button, this is like some default value now. This is some default put things in the lower third. But that default is an upstream key of a chroma key. So let me explain that real quick. So on my screen here, you can see we're in Atem control software. And what we're looking at are the upstream keys. So these are essentially effects that you can do where one video signal is manipulating another one, or there's an effect on top of them. But to make things simple, we're just going to talk about the first one here. So this is the upstream keyer. You'll notice that when I hit key on air versus off air, it is enabling and disabling this effect. And the first thing it went to was this chroma here. It's trying to cancel the background of a green screen, but guess what? We're not using a green screen. We're just using black and white text. So we're gonna go to Luma key. Luma, so chroma means color, pick a color and get rid of the background that is that color. Luma is the opposite, so it is light-based. So anything that is dark or in the shadows, it'll eliminate. And we're working on key 1 here. Oh, well, I already spoiled it. So it works. So yeah, like as you can see, it's on air, downstream key 1. It's a Luma key. The fill and key source is camera 4, meaning it's not like trying to use one of these other camera signals. Like, is this my camera signal? I think it is. But it's not trying to do some like crazy effects to interpolate between them. That's way too fancy. It's saying, what's my alpha channel, which is a map of like deciding which pixels to allow through or not. And it fills, keep alpha channel, and then the fill source, which is based on that map you gave me of which pixels to allow to poke through the screen, what do you want sending through those? So in this case, the key source is the black background with the white text, as in delete all the pixels that are black and only show the pixels that are white. That's the effect here. And then we have a flying key here. That's just to make it on the lower third of the screen. I can manipulate that obviously and put it where I want to. We're most of the way done there. Some people like to do these, not these filters, like just to adjust where, essentially what determines a dark pixel or not. And the reason why that's important is because if I go to ProPresenter, if I go to ProPresenter and now I apply a background, you'll notice that there's some smoke coming in. That's because I'm now no longer sending just white pixels and black pixels. It's only deleting the absolutely black pixels, and the slightly less than black pixels are coming through. So you can see here, if I go further to the right, it's removing everything except the white pixels, but if I go all the way to the left, I'm bringing in more and more of the original image. So it's essentially deciding just how black of a pixel should be deleted from this overlay. So we could bring it up here. This is kind of a hacky way because I don't know, you might get more artifacting or certain backgrounds might be poking through here. I'm not sure what this version does, but anyway, we have the effects where we like it. We usually keep it here and just avoid showing backgrounds. for the sake of simplicity. But if you wanted to play around with it, you could dial it in so that most of your slides were being eliminated, no more partial smoke or off black pixels. But I can get into it in a minute why that's important. So anyway, in order to activate this and deactivate this, you'll notice in the beginning when we did this, interesting, the button is yelling at me. Boom. It went back to chroma key, but notice that it's doing a key one and on-air one. The difference here is you'll notice that when I switch back and forth between these cameras, it's now turning off and turning on that effect with who I'm following. So if this is key one, notice that in the preview is my slide overlay, not in my program, and I'm swapping them over. And even though, like, I'm not on screen anymore, but the lyrics are there, and now I'm on screen and the lyrics are gone. So that's the strange behavior, or not a strange behavior, but that's just like if you wanted to only have an overlay for a little bit and you wanted to dissolve out of that overlay, you would do key one. So essentially this means trigger on the next one. Actually, it technically starts with this. Get the key ready for the next one. It'll be on air for the second one. And when the two of these are illuminated, that means have it on screen. And as soon as I transition back, it's not queued anymore. So ideally, you're just pushing this button back and forth. There's also a way to set macros in this software. We use a macro right here, so key 2 on air, off air. That's just to help with turning on and off keys as we see fit. That's physical buttons on the Atem switcher. And I think that's just about it. So yeah, if you have a video background, then you've got more to dial in and figuring out where your clip point is and making sure that the effect stays there persistent. The other trick is to use. So you'll notice in this. Let's just go full screen here. It might be hard to tell with the black background, but what we do is the actual text itself. We apply a stroke width of 3 and a gray background. So if I increase this size here, there you go, look. So that's just like an extra gray stroke on the outside. The reason why we do that, obviously this is exaggerated for demonstration purposes, but the reason why we put a little bit of gray on the outside is so that when we're eliminating those black pixels and we're choosing what to pass through to the live stream, we want a little bit of like border around it. That way, if white text is on like a very white background, it doesn't just blend right in and make it harder to see. So that's just a helpful tip. And part of that equation you have to do when you're trying to adjust for a overlay. So if you're on air and you're checking that clipping distance, let's go full screen. Just making sure that you're seeing the background there. Otherwise, if I eliminate the background, notice that it's harder to make out the word "my worship" on the rim of my laptop here, because it's kind of like you want to see some of that, but notice that there's some smoke coming in from the background. So it's a strange dance you have to play to make things more legible versus not. So like it gets harder and harder to see it based on how gray those pixels are. The other trick is just to make it a slightly darker gray so that or a brighter gray, I should say, so that it's eliminated later on in that clip cycle. Anyway, hope this is helpful. Definitely a bit jumbled, but I want to thank my beautiful assistants for demonstrating how these overlays work.